All right, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's your buddy Mr. G. We're going to talk about doing an animation walk cycle today. So what we are attempting to do, I'm going to pull up a video here. This is our final product of what we're making here, if we can get it to work here. So we're going to export this out to an MP4 video, but in this video, you can see we have an animated character. He's walking. He's got, if you notice about his walk, he's got some good things. He's got his head is bobbing, his neck and head are actually bobbing. His head's got a little bit of wiggle to it. His arms are moving. He's got sound, whistle, and also you notice that the background is also moving with him as he goes, right? So there's a background element that adds a secondary animation to it, secondary movement, and then the trees in front, a foreground element that's adding an additional layer of foreground. Now the background's moving at one speed, the foreground's moving at another speed. So that's what we're going to put together. We're going to start with doing this, but we're going to do this all in After Effects. Okay, so going into this file here, we need all these parts. We're going to need Walkman AI, you'll need to download background elements, foreground elements, and this human male whistle sound right here. We'll need all of those parts, okay? So we're going to jump over here into After Effects, okay? Now I already have some of these things made. I'm going to go ahead and do this from scratch here and going to throw all these away so you can make sure that you are getting them all in here the same way. Delete, return, delete, return, delete, return, delete, return, delete, return, delete, return. And we'll do this at one at a time here. All right, so the first thing when we open up to After Effects, we're going to go ahead and make a new composition. So we're going to go ahead and click New Composition here. We're going to call this My Name. Try not to misspell my name. John Grosvenor Walk Cycle, okay? We're going to make this 1920 wide, then we're going to make it 1080 tall here, so full resolution, full HD resolution. We're doing a frame rate of 24 pixels, and we're going to have a duration of 15 seconds, okay? Leaving the background black is fine. We'll go ahead and create that, and then we have that right here. So there's our composition, okay? I'm going to go ahead and say fit on here. I'm going to take the resolution. I'm going to take this down to about half just to speed up my video recording here. All right, so we've got that. We've got a frame, basically. There's our project. Now, first thing we're going to do, we're going to put that guy in there, and we need to go find him. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Import File. Now, I've already created this guy in an Illustrator file, okay? And he has all of his parts, and he is an Illustrator file. And then we bring him in, we want to bring him in not as footage, we want to bring him as a composition because we want to retain those layer sizes because we're going to animate. He is not animated right now. He is a stagnant Illustrator file with all his body parts, his front foot, his back foot, his upper leg, his lower leg, all on individual layers, okay? So that is important so that we can animate that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and open that guy right there. Okay, again, want to retain those layer sizes. So there he is. So we're going to work on him first. So the first part we're going to do is we're going to animate that guy. Okay, so I'm just going to double click on him. Now it's going to pull up down here, and I'm going to grab this and bring it up just a little bit here. Now in here, we see that the hat, the head, the upper arm, the lower arm, front hand, neck, thigh, all his body parts are all on different layers there. So I can individually move those. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of his layers. Okay, I'm going to grab the one, hold down shift, grab, so I've selected all of his layers, all of his body parts. Okay, I'm going to add rotation to all these and swing his arms and swing his legs and all of those things. To do that, I'm going to hit the R key to bring up my R animation. Okay, with them all selected as they are, I'm going to put a keyframe at, this is going to be a 1 second walk cycle here. And, ooh, man, that's going to be a problem. I can't see my, let's adjust this real quick here. See if I can, bring this up because I can't see my little scroller. A little bit of technical difficulty. I'm going to open this up so that I can see 24 frames. Right about there looks good. So I have 0, 12, and 1 second is 24 frames. So that's what I was doing there. Okay, so I'm going to make this big again. All right, you guys probably can't see it, but I have a little video pop up here that's right in my way. All right, so with that selected there, I've got rotation. So with them all selected, I'm going to hit the time clock here, and it's going to add a keyframe. That's going to add to every layer. We'll add a keyframe right there. And then I'm going to take my time scrubber. I'm going to go forward to 12 seconds, which is going to be the mid section of our walk cycle. I'm going to add another keyframe, and I'm going to hit right here. I'll click that to add another keyframe. It's going to add another keyframe, all of them, because again, we're all selected. I'm going to move forward here to the 1 second or 24 frames, and I'm going to put in another keyframe. Okay. Now we hit the animation button, so technically we have an animation, but we haven't moved anything, so it doesn't look like anything's moving when we scrub back and forth. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to do this one limb at a time. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to set this right here at the 12 second, okay? But before I do that, I've got to do a couple things, okay? So first I'm going to click away. I have to parent each part, okay? To parent these parts, I need to make everything connected. So the hat is going to be parented to the head. The head will be parented to the neck, and then the neck will be parented to the body. The arms and legs will also be parented to the bodies. So to do that, where it has here, it says parent and link. If you don't see that, you can go right here in the walk cycle here, and it has these little pop up. In your columns tab, if you don't see that, make sure you have parent and link checked right there. I've already got it. So for the hat, I'm going to parent the hat to the head. To the head, I'm going to parent that to the neck. For the upper arm, I'm going to parent that to the body. For the lower arm, I'm going to parent that to the upper arm front. If you downloaded this, will be in the same way that you have. My front hand is going to parent to the lower arm front. Neck will be parented to the body. Thigh will be parented to the body. Shin will be, that is the front shin will be to the thigh front. And we got the body will be the only part that is not parented to anything. The body's not going to be parented to everything. Everything else is going to be parented to something else. Lower arm, let's say upper arm will be parented to the body. Lower arm will be parented to the upper arm. Back. The back hand will be parented to the lower arm, back, and then the thigh will be parented to the body, and then we have the shin will be parented to the thigh back. All right, now if I've got all of those right, if I click on the body and move the body, all the other parts should move with it. Okay, I'll just hit Command Z, put him right back in the same place. Okay, next thing I need to do, I'm going to grab my rotation tool and my anchor point tool here. I'm going to click on anchor point, okay, and I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. Okay, and I need to adjust the anchor points. For the hat, I'll bring it down here so it'll rotate right on that. For the head, I don't want the head to rotate in the middle. I want it to rotate at the base of the neck. The neck, I want to rotate at the base of the body. His upper arm, I want to rotate right there in the middle. The back arm is going to rotate right in the same place. Front arm is going to go at the elbow. and we'll rotate at the wrist. Hold your space bar and adjust these as you go. Back arm, back hand, front thigh, back thigh, and then my lower leg. We'll rotate at the knees. Now this character doesn't have feet, but if you did, you would rotate those at the feet. I'm going to put this guy back to fit again. So there we have that. All right, so now I've got my character. He should be all rotated. If you want to test that, you can grab your rotation tool. You can grab any part, right? So right now, if I move the upper arm, it should be hold parent properties over top of the hand and lower arm. So if I move that, that whole arm should move. And likewise, if I go to lower arm, that should move so that we have that. Okay, I'm gonna hit Command Z because I want that all to be the same. Okay, all right, now I'm going to make sure nothing's moving when I animate it. That looks great. Okay, now we're going back to animate. Now you remember we dropped these keyframes with rotation, but we haven't actually rotated anything first because we had to parent every part and we had to make sure our rotation points were all in the same or in the correct place so they're rotating correctly. Okay, I'm going to move 4 to 12 frames, which is the half point of our walk cycle. Remember, this is going to be a 1 second walk cycle. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, we're going to make this leg move forward, and we're going to make this arm move back. So as this leg moves forward, the back arm is going to move back. Okay, so on this, you'll see right here, now I can either scrub the numbers, but I'm just going to grab it and rotate it here and bring him forward. So there is that leg. Okay. And then I'm going to take the back arm, or the front arm, and I'm going to rotate it back. Okay, so they have those. So now, when I move, I should have this scissor action when I go out to 12 frames. Okay, if you got that, that should look correct. All right, now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take my upper arm, I'm going to poke out the eye, because I want to grab my back arm. Okay, while that one goes forward, I'm going to take this guy at 12 frames and I want him to come forward. I'm going to turn these guys back on like that. Do the same thing with leg, that back leg at 12 frames. My thigh back. Okay, and this one I'll rotate this one just so I don't have to take it back, and I'll take that back like that. Like that. So when I move like this, I should have kind of this scissor walk action going. Okay, so although he is animated and he is moving, it doesn't look very natural, right? So, and if I hit my space bar, I can check that out, and he does that. That's great. Okay. All right, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to add some movement of his body. Okay, so we're going to go in between here. If I scrub back here, we're going to add some motion right here at this point at 6 frames, which is right between the beginning and the midpoint. And then we're going to go here between the midpoint and the end where the feet are going to strike the ground here. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of motion. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to see which leg is coming forward. What we want to do is that leg comes forward, we're going to kind of kick that forward, that leg forward a little bit and add a little bit of exaggeration. So we're going to go ahead and go right there at 6 seconds, okay, or 6 frames, excuse me, okay. I'm going to click my upper thigh, my thigh front here, and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to bring it forward and exaggerate this a little bit. And again, I have my rotation tool here, and I'm going to bring this back, and this is going to give you me an action of kind of reinforcing, kind of throwing that foot forward to take a step. So as I go here and bring it forward, you'll see he kind of flips that leg forward a little bit more and gives me a step as he gets there. Okay, groovy. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here when I go to the next one as my back leg comes forward. Okay, I want to reinforce that thigh coming forward, so I'm going to go to thigh back, and I'm going to reinforce it coming forward so I can flip that leg forward and flick that leg, lower leg, and foot forward. So when I go and I play it, it has a little bit more of a natural looking walk movement. Right there. Okay. All right. Now I might need a little bit of adjustment later, and I know my hand is in front of that, so we'll adjust those once we get all the way through here. The next thing I want to do as we move, we kind of bounce up and down because we don't float through the air. As our feet strike the ground, our body goes up and down as we take steps, right? And our head bobs and all that. We're going to start with the body first. Okay, so I'm going to grab the body. We're going to get on the body layer, okay? Now this time I want to add a different kind of animation. I don't want to do a rotation. I want to do a position because I want to raise the body up a little bit in order to make the body raise as my foot strikes the ground, and as I step forward, it'll come back down a little bit. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to start with a base point though. I'm going to go and click on body. I'm going to hit position because I would like to add an animation position. Okay, now I need to have a beginning neutral point so I can raise it, right? If I want an animation, I have to start from one point and move to another point. Okay, so I'm going to hit my animation button. That's going to add a keyframe at the beginning of this. I'm going to go ahead and go here to the midpoint, and I'm going to add another keyframe. And again, we're not changing anything yet. We're giving a kind of a control point for us to do that. So right now we have 3 position animation keyframes put in, but he's not moving up and down. Okay, so at this midpoint here, I want him to raise up as his foot hits the ground there, where we have those frames. And I can take his body and I'm going to take the position and I'm going to raise him up a little bit. Kind of scrub back and see how that looks. I'm just kind of visually looking at the distance between the edge of the frame and his foot when it's back, and I want to kind of maintain that as I go up there. I think I want to go up just a little bit more. So it's at 450. Let's go to 433.5. That's where I'm at. I like that. That feels pretty good. He bounces pretty good. Now I have this kind of bounce to his walk. Okay, I'm going to go up here to the next 18 frames. I'm going to do the same thing, and that was the number here. I'm grabbing this number. I'm just going to punch in that same number so it looks even, 433.5. I'm going to go here and I'm going to scrub forward, and I'm going to push in right here position, and I'm just going to type 433.5, hit return this time. And then I should have my guy, and as he goes, he's going to bounce a little bit like that. All right, groovy, groovy, groovy. That's all looking pretty good. Okay, next thing we want to do, we're going to play with his head a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click off here. I'm going to click on his neck. And again, when that foot strikes the ground, I would like his neck to go forward. Now I'm going to exaggerate a little bit here because I want to kind of reinforce my movement. I'm just going to rotate his neck forward there it's at 38.6. Let's just go ahead and make it an even 40 just for kicks. And then I'm going to rotate forward here. Remember, we already have the neutral point because we started with a keyframe on everything. And I'm going to go up to the 18 point, and I'm going to go ahead and take that rotation to 40 there as well. So when he walks, he kind of has this bob to his head. I like that. Now as his neck goes down, I'd like his head to pivot up, kind of counter it. So I'm going to go find his head. I'm just going to click on it here. There is his head. And as that goes down, I'm going to rotate his head up like this. So I'll kind of have this rocking. Where's my head layer at? There it is. 26. Let's just make that 28. Oh, that's not right. Negative 28. So negative 28, return. I'll scrub forward here to the 18 frames. I'll do the same thing, head rotation, and we're going to do negative 28 there and hit return. Okay. Now I'm going to move this around a little bit. That looks pretty good. I like my walk cycle there. He's got a little bit of arcs and movement to him, kind of breaking up that very robotic scissor kind of walk we were doing in the first place. Okay. Now, I want to do a couple more things before we move on. I'm going to duplicate this out because we have a 15-second animation. So I want him to walk for 15 seconds. In order to do that, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to add some ease into this. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to rotate here. I'm going to go to, oh, I didn't do this right. Grab these guys again. And then I'm just going to right click on them. I'm going to do keyframe assistant and I want to add ease on these. Okay. So all these ones that are out 1 second, half second, and a full second, I want to add ease to. The ones that are like less than a whole second, I'm not going to bother putting it because they're so close together. I probably am not going to see that. Right. So I'm going to go in here and grab these and keep clicking on the wrong thing. Keyframe assistant, ease right there. And we'll go down and grab these until I have all these parts that are set like that to have a little bit of ease. So they have that slow in and slow out feel to it. And I'm going to go back here and I'm going to play them here a little bit. And that gives me a little bit of a smoother look there. Okay. I like that. Okay. Now some other things I can add. I can go up here and I can add some hat wobble. So if I want to make the hat go up here and I want to make his hat wobble just a little bit down as he goes over his nose just a little bit there. It's 11. That sounds good. We'll go over here and go here and we'll do the same thing. We're going to add 11, make that 12 there. So this hat has a little bit of wobble to it when he takes those steps. All right, groovy. If everything's working good and I like what I've got, okay, now I just need to go and find his arm. Oh. Holding down shift. Grab those 3 parts here. And I need to bring those. Where's his front hand? Back hand. Lower arm, upper arm, and I'm just going to bring those up above his thigh. Oop, that's not right. Take his body up above. Let's go back here. So you need that lower arm, back hand, back arm above. Thigh, back. So I just need thigh back above those guys. So that should have my, there we go. So that arm is not crossing in front of that back leg. All right, groovy. Okay, so if everything looks good, I'm going to go up here so I can see all of my frames. Now, what I want to do, if I've got everything the way I like it, okay, again, I'm going to go and kind of play it a couple times. And if that looks good, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab and select all of these frames. I'm going to go out to the 1 second. I'm just going to hit Command C and Command V. Okay. Now that should come back and I'll just let it play here. I'm going to go ahead and hit my space bar. That should play it out for 2 walk cycles. Okay, groovy. I'm going to go to 2 seconds here. And I'm going to grab all of those. I'll hit Command C. And again, I'm going to put my time scrubber at 2 seconds. I'll hit Command V. And I'll space that out like that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just keep going Command V from there, and I'll scrub out to the next one. Command V. I'm just going to keep pasting this until I get out to my 15 seconds. And then I have my 15-second walk cycle. I'm going to go ahead and come down here. I'm going to click off of this, and I'm going to go ahead and hit my space bar. And I should have a successful walk cycle that I can implement into my composition. All right, I will pick this up right here on the next video. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. Okay, I'm going to take all these guys before I go. Once I have all this here, I'm going to take my top layer, go down to the bottom, go to the very bottom layer I have. I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to click on pre-compose, which is like grouping this animation into one thing. Pre-compose. I'm going to call it finished walk cycle, and I will say OK, because that's not my finish. Remember, we are working on John G. walk cycle. There's my composition. Now I'm going to take finished walk cycle here, and I simply drag that into my layer, and then I have that in there ready to go. And you can see he is right there ready to go. If I push play, he is all composed in there. Okay. If I push pause, and if I need to go back in there, I can always just go and double click on there, and I can go right back into that, and then I can click back when I'm done if I need to adjust anything. Okay. All right. Everybody stay creative. Again, I'll pick up the finish of this video in the next one, and I'll pick up right there. Have a great day. Stay creative.